Happy Sunday, guys. I wanted to take a moment to reflect on this past week and how I made some bad judgments. When we judge, we use the little caveman brain that used to protect us back thousands and thousands of years ago from things that were dangerous. This past week, in terms of my bad judgments, I judged some things at face value, when I dug deeper, I ended up discovering that there was a human element involved in some of my business decisions that had way more adverse effects than I had ever imagined. So I wanted to find some people that I've actually judged and held in hostility that I've never spoken to before, and find out what their story is and why they do what they do. And the answer that I found was actually enlightened me, and also I think helps me further understand them, and also I don't have to drive by them anymore with that feeling of hostility, because I have a further understanding of them and why they do what they do. This group that I'm referencing in particular is a group of protesters that are on the corner of East and Goodman ever since the Iraq War started. So anyways, a follow-up to that is my conversation with them. Stay tuned, hope you enjoy it, and I'll give you my my takeaways from that engagement.
Hank Stone.
Okay, so you're Hank Stone?
I live in Ionia.
Okay.
The reason I'm here is because I think that the war system is one of the key things that our society is getting wrong. War is extraordinarily expensive. Like, in round numbers, $2 trillion a year for the whole world, and half of that money is spent by us in the United States. And we wanted to do something to witness for our point of view. And it turns out this is not something that appeals to just everybody.
Yeah.
But we have some Quaker blood here. This young lady is a Quaker.
Yes.
And my mother was a Quaker. And Quakers believe in witness. That if you believe something is right, you should stand up for it.
Yes. And
by standing up for it, you make it possible for other people to see that when they have these thoughts, they're not alone. About 16 years.
16 years here?
Here.
At this corner?
East and Goodman, Sundays, noon to 1.
Yeah. Okay. I had no idea that you guys did that you've been doing that for this long.
People were really upset that we were here. What we observe as a kind of rule of thumb is that if people disapprove of what we're doing here, they yell something as they drive by quickly.
Yeah.
And it turns out that people don't want to have a conversation about it because they haven't generally got very well-formed thoughts about it.
Yes.
We've been thinking about this for a long time, and so we're not terribly insecure about our point of view.
Well, I'll just point out two things. All the religions of the world have the golden rule, and the golden rule: you cannot have war. Treat other people as you want them to treat you. We're all one people. That's the first thing. We're all one people. We're all connected. Everybody's connected.
Yes.
So we're all brothers and sisters.
All right. So I actually learned a lot from talking to those folks and seeking a greater understanding as to why they do what they do. But I think that these days we need to have a discussion with people instead of just having to place judgment upon them. If we can have a discussion and ask people how they feel and why they feel that way, and just shut up and listen, you'll end up realizing that you have a lot more common values and common ground than you may think. Because at the end of the day, we're all human beings, and we all have our feelings and passions, And when we boil it down to our essence, we do value a lot of the same things, and we just express them in different ways. So that's what I got on this Sunday's reflection, and I hope this has helped you as it's helped me. Happy Sunday all.